Joined now by Drew Sanders, the head coach over at Vandegrift High School. And first of all, let's kind of go back in your coaching tree. Let's go back to where you were playing at Mahia High School. Take me back to those days of a young black cat playing football.
Okay, yeah, so I played football for Paul Hurst, and he's a wonderful man. And he was the first guy that actually got me kind of thinking about coaching, because he absolutely loved his job. And I just remember one of my memories of him and his staff was him and his staff, they would laugh all the time, and they'd have a good, he was serious when he needed to be, but I just remember seeing them laugh and joke with each other, and I thought, you know, if I could do a job where I could have fun, that sounds pretty cool.
Sure.
And so I started thinking about it. Then I watched his influence over the kids and, of course, over me, and I really got serious. And by the time I was a senior, I knew I always wanted to be a high school coach.
And then you later went to Hardin-Simmons University. You got to be a part of Jimmy Keeling's program.
Oh yeah, I went to play at Hardin-Simmons. I was fortunate enough to get to play college football, and that was just when we were starting. They were starting the program back up at Hardin-Simmons. They'd only started it, I think, 2 or 3 years prior to me being there. And Coach Keeling, of course, stayed there for 20 years or something, and became the winningest coach all time in Hardin-Simmons history. He's a high school Hall of Fame coach, and so he's one of my most important people in my life, and been such a good mentor to me. And he retired recently, but we still talk all the time. But Coach Keeling kind of taught me how to be a coach, and of course Coach Paul Hurst, but just watching him interact with young men was amazing. I remember the very first day of practice, I was a freshman, and he knew my first and last name immediately, and he knew I was from Mahia, and I just couldn't believe that. We had 100 freshmen, and he knew my name, and he called me the Mahia Flash, and I'll never forget that. And so that was the kind of guy he was.
And Jimmy not only had some great teams at Hardin-Simmons, but he coached a lot of players who would later become coaches.
That's right. There are probably, and I don't know the exact number, but it's not exaggerating to say there are over 100 high school coaches right now that coached or played under him at Hardin-Simmons. There's something, we call it the Mafia, the Hardin-Simmons Mafia, because we are out there at every school, and I got a connection pretty much at every school now in Texas. But yeah, I think it's just a credit to him and his spirit. And a bunch of guys play Division III football, just love football, and so that starts it. And then watching him and how much fun he had and how successful he was, I think everybody just, you know, a lot of us just said, you know, this could be fun, and so we all kind of went from there.
So Hardin-Simmons is in Abilene. You go south to Killeen, and you start working with Lee Bridges, who's now your boss here in Leander ISD.
Yeah, it's been funny. He's been my boss a really long time, so we know each other real well. But anyway, he's a great man, and I've worked now for him. I don't know how many years now, but I was with him at Killeen. I was his defensive tackle coach at Killeen, and then from there he asked me to go with him to San Antonio Taft, and he had all kinds of success in San Antonio Taft, including the state final appearance in 2001. And so I was there, and eventually rose up to the rank all the way to defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator with him, and then from there went to Stevens with him and became his defensive coordinator at San Antonio Stevens when he opened that school. And of course he did well there, took him to state semifinals in the 4th year or 5th year, and then now went to Leander, so I got to coach against him a little bit, which was really weird.
Sure.
When I was at Vandegrift and he was at Leander, and then he took over Leander ISD Athletics, and so now he's my boss for a second time, and it's great. But you know, a lot of the stuff I do, I learned from him, whether it's how I handle parents. He was always so good with parents, and always cared a lot about the kids, and kind of taught me the philosophy of that the kid you're coaching is someone's child. Yep. And so treat them with respect and take care of them just like you'd want your own son or daughter treated. And that overall concept has guided me well throughout my whole career. And he's going to get fired up, and he's going to do what you need to do, and he's going to prepare and all that stuff, and I learned a lot of that from him. But I think the biggest thing I got from him was just the way he treated people.
Sure. You're down 42-14 to Vista Ridge, and somehow you guys battle not only all the way back, but really most of that battle was done in the second quarter.
Yeah, we just, they came out swinging, and they hit us quick. And their quarterback is so good. I don't know if you guys cover Vista at all, but Matt Snow is unbelievable, and we couldn't tackle him. There was one busted play where he got 5 yards, and we had guys at his ankles in the backfield, and he just carried us for 5 yards. So, yeah, we got down 42-14, then we're able to keep our kids in the game and keep our kids positive. And it's realized that, guys, I know they've scored a lot of points, but it is only the second quarter. Let's keep fighting. And they believed us. And that's, credit to my coaching staff and their ability to connect with kids and not have them pout or give up, because, this stadium was packed, and it's embarrassing to go down like that in a big game. And they didn't pout. They kept playing. And so we wanted to keep playing hard, and they did it. And all of a sudden we score, kick an onside, get it, score, and now we're down 14 points. And that's anybody's ball game. We come out after the second half and play better defense and only give up 2 field goals and make some adjustments. And offense kept going and end up scoring 63, and we find a way to win.
Held on to win.
Yep.
Final thoughts just about how this whole coaching experience has been for you.
Well, my Coach Keeling, I'll go back to him. And I sat in his office when I was a 22-year-old GA for him, and I said, I want to be an assistant coach for you for a year. And he said, that sounds good, but only do it if you just can't live without it, And so I didn't really understand it at the time, but I do now that this is my 19th or 20th year doing it, is just there's some really tough things about our job. We get criticized a lot. We get second-guessed a lot. We have to deal with some issues that are very, very serious at times when you deal with kids and parents. But, the feeling of winning and the feeling of connecting with the kid, like, for the rest of his life, and being able to change a kid's heart and mind for forever, to me, that's what keeps me going. And that's why coaching for me is a perfect fit.
Very good. Drew Sanders, Vandegrift Vipers head coach. Thanks for joining us here on LoneStarGridiron.com. Be sure to check us out each and every week.